How would you describe opening night in one word?
Fantastic.
Exciting.
Eye-opening.
Fantastic.
Depressing.
Amazing.
Oh, depressing.
If I had to put one word to it, I would have said astonishing.
Thank you.
I've always been intrigued by the idea of doing the Diary of Anne Frank. We did it before when I first came here, but I wasn't involved in that production, so it was nearly a decade ago. And I like the way they tell the story through the diary entries. I like that there's not much action except for a few very big moments that are very, very tense. And I really liked the challenge that it would present to our students to work a show with people that were real, that really existed, and having to do that sort of background information. So that was, those were all the things that led me to choose the Diary of Anne Frank. We're not really allowing the actors the opportunity to go off stage and take a break from the action that they're working through on stage, even during intermission. We have a 15-minute intermission, but the actors never leave the stage, so they have to stay in character at all times. They don't get that mental break where they can walk off, take a drink, play on their phone for a little bit, kind of calm down in between scenes or in between acts or something like that. So it forces them to stay in character, building towards that final climax that we're going to, which is very different. The costume changes that we're doing for the show are also very different. The characters change at the end of every single day, and we want the props and the living space to look as realistic as possible. So the majority of the actors are storing their costumes on stage. They have to take them with them to their quick changes. So that's another aspect that's really, really different from the way that we usually do things.
The hardest part about playing Anne is the fact that this is a period of time in her life where she's still an adolescent. She's going through puberty, and she has some certain diary entries that are pretty personal. And I want to give respect to her because she was a real person and she did die in the Holocaust. But I also have my own boundaries because I'm a teenager myself, and it's just an awkward situation to have to talk about such private topics on a stage in front of a huge crowd. I think at her first appearance, Anne seems really childish and really immature and not all quite there, kind of has her head in the clouds, but Anne knows a lot more than she lets on. She's very intelligent and she's very aware. And I think a lot of people, including the adults in her life, looked over that and didn't see that side of her. But she's intelligent and she picks up on a lot more than people give her credit for. And that's not really shown as much when you first see her and she first appears on stage. Even for just being 12 and 13, she knows a lot more than other 12 and 13-year-olds do. And I don't think people pick up on that as much. I think my Anne Frank will be different from other actresses' portrayals as Anne Frank because a lot of the experiences that she goes throughout the play and in the annex, I've experienced in my own daily life. There are constant times growing up where I felt like adults were talking about me while I was in the room as though I wasn't there. There were so many times where adults think less of you and talk down to you, even though you know so much more than what they think you do. And I think those personal experiences that I've had and how closely they relate to what happens in the script helps me better put my own take on Anne as opposed to other actresses. One of the struggles that I still need to overcome with the production date coming up so quickly is that I have a ton of lines to learn. I have, if I counted right, 152. And not only do I need to learn my own lines, I need to have memorized the lines before mine so I know when I'm supposed to speak, where I'm supposed to be when I'm speaking, what my mood is. Just memorizing the whole show inside and out with a date that is fastly approaching. But I have some time set aside. I have rehearsal in the afternoons and evenings that I can work to overcome that challenge as we slowly get closer to the show.
I think the theme of the show is humanity. It's all about trying to figure out how to relate to people in different situations. It's a lot about Anne trying to come to terms with who she is as a young woman, as a young person, and not being able to fully explore that because of the situation that she's in. So there's a lot about restraints that we put on ourselves, living up to other people's expectations, just simply trying to figure out who we are in very difficult circumstances. Anne Frank was very unlucky that she did not survive the Holocaust, but she serves as an icon. She's the one individual person that we attach to all of the tragedy that happened through the Holocaust. So it's very interesting to me that she talks about in her diary and in the play about how she hopes that she can live on after this and mean more to people than just this one thing, and that's what she becomes. She becomes an icon. She has a legacy of a young woman dealing with some very difficult things that she should never have had to deal with.
I do think our cast is a family, especially now that we're all on stage all the time, playing an actual family. It's bringing us a lot closer together than it would in other shows. Well, we're constantly spending time together, on stage and off stage, when we're building the set or we're putting together the costume designs or the lighting designs. During rehearsals, during Saturdays, we have dinner breaks. We're constantly eating together and talking, and we spend a lot of time together outside of school, inside of school, on stage, off stage, and I feel like this show in particular, more than any other show, has given us a sense of feeling like we actually have a family here, like a set, solid family that we can turn to if we need to. My role is Mr. Von Dan. Well, the Von Dans are very, not really greedy people. Mr. Von Dan is greedy, but they're a lot more hostile towards others than than the Franks are. The Franks are the kind of people that would take you into their home and, you know, give you food and water and give you the clothes off of their backs, but the Von Dans are not those kinds of people. They're very selfish, and
there's a lot of conflicts between the two families. They're very different from each other. Their relationships while living together in the annex are what really pushes the show forward. It's really a show about human connection and how we form relationships with each other, with people who are totally different from us, and how we're all just a little bit similar inside.
As an unfunded program, we have to take care of everything from a technical, logistical standpoint on Saturday usually. That means hanging and focusing lights. That means prepping sound cues. That means building and developing set, painting set, getting everything ready to present the week and just to really have, to get prepped for a solid run of rehearsals up until Tech Week, up until the performances. A typical set Saturday is a lot of fun. I mean, in truth, like, we have a really wonderful group of kids. Our kids here at Maverick Theater are incredibly committed, incredibly loving. It's just, we have a really great fun atmosphere. We just divide up jobs, and according to skill sets, and our designers, usually our senior designers, our designers in the D&P class or design and production class, they'll be the heads for costume, for scenic, for lighting, for sound, for props, and then we'll put together a small crew with them, and then we just go through a list of what we need to accomplish that day. And there's usually a lot of laughs, usually a lot of really great memories that come along the way. And I think everyone leaves feeling accomplished, but also feeling a sense of community. And I know that I and Miss P both are incredibly thankful for that. Every show is different. Every show is different. Every show is going to present its own set of problems, its own set of complications. For this one, we have what is known as a static set. Static set meaning the set itself doesn't move. The actors change according to time and place. Maybe night and day, things like that. So the set itself doesn't move, but we have to make sure that the story is driven by changes in light, by changes in costuming to indicate a change in season or a change in day and night. And that's really the major push for a show like this, is just maintaining that continuity.
My concept is realistic. I found pictures of people that were from that time period, and I really just based the costumes off of them. And there's also a few pictures I found of Anne Frank, and I based her costumes mostly off of that. There's a lot that has to be done with costumes before this show. You have to pull all kinds of costumes, and you have to try them on everybody to make sure they fit and make sure they match that character's personality. And then you might have to fix some costumes that might be too big or might have a hole or a tear in them.
Okay, how do costumes show the characters' personalities?
The costumes show the characters' personalities in ways that reflects their age and who they are. Like Anne will wear more colorful and childlike clothing, and the two mothers will wear more nudes and sophisticated colored clothing.
We do all of the we write down all of the blocking. We're the memory of.
We're the memory of the show.
Yeah.
And so, the weekly average time that we do for the show, gosh,
we leave around.
we leave here around 8:30 or 9 every
Yeah.
night. Yeah. We're the last ones to leave. And
Well,
so we're here
except
from
leave, but-
3:20 to 8:30.
Mhm.
What, 3 times a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then set Saturdays, however many hours we need to be here.
Without the acting positions, the show wouldn't be able to work, and without the tech positions, the acting positions wouldn't be able to be there. The acting is Mr. P once described it as, it's like seeing a duck on water, and while it glides gracefully through on top, its feet are very...
We're the feet. The techies
Yeah.
are the feet. And so under the beautiful scene that you have on stage and the actors are so graceful, underneath the feet are going pop, 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 and we're working, and there's a lot of freakouts, but
It's what makes it fun.
it's what makes it fun. It's what makes it interesting, and without the feet, the duck couldn't swim.
Yeah.
So there's lighting, there's sound, there's runners, there's costume changers, which are dressers, there's stage managers, obviously. What else is there?
There are stagehands, but we don't have any for this show.
That's why we're using the runner for that.
Our runners, but they're stagehand.
I've learned that patience is key, definitely, and that no matter what happens, don't freak out. You know, it's going to be okay. Just kind of roll with it, because you never know what's going to happen.
I learned a lot about leadership. Before I was pretty shy, but now you have to be able to
Yeah.
yell a little bit. You have to be able to directly have a conversation with someone. I feel like stage managing definitely teaches you how to do that.
Mr. Frank's so dude.
Wait until. Get in. I had it turned off and
You didn't unplug it!
So we got this.